All right, welcome to the Max Effort Kitchen podcast. I am Matt. This is Cornell. We are your hosts for today. We took the week off last week, got us some nice, R&R, just some time away. I don't know. Personally, Cornell, I needed a little bit of time to get re-inspired a little bit. But
Sure.
That's just me. Yeah. How you doing today?
Good. No, one of my favorite things is when things get canceled last second because you have all the plans and you have the time set aside and then it canceled. You're like, I was just given time. If you're planning on going somewhere with someone, they have to cancel last minute for whatever reason. I'm like, I just gained 2 hours. What do I want to do?
Exactly.
I do whatever I want.
It's like one of the best feelings. And for me being an introvert, I'm always, every time I have plans, I'm hoping that it gets canceled. so I'm like
it's that whole, like when I used to call my grandparents, like I would hope that it would go to voicemail. And I'm like, I'll leave a message. I get credit and I don't have to talk to him.
Don't have to do anything about it. Exactly. Yeah. No, that's what it's all about. No, but it was a good week off. I think I stayed off of social media for most of the week. I posted some stuff on Monday, but it was just nice to kind of like break away from that. And it's good to do every now and then. It's fun. But anyways, Cornell, there's been a lot of talk about this. And so I figure we're going to talk about something on the podcast that it has to do with weightlifting, but it also has to do with food. And it kind of is a good conversation. But this idea of inflation and what it's doing to, more specifically to our show, what it's doing for the cost of food and how we're recovering from that and doing all the different things that we know to do so we can still eat properly and eat with quality. And it was started from a conversation with all of us on Polo about the California fast food minimum wage going up. And for those of you who don't know, I think it went up to $20 an hour. It's supposed to be up to $25 an hour.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't even know. That's insane. But needless to say, there's nothing we can do about it. But at the same point, what are we going to do about being able to purchase good food and still get the calories in for recovery? And so I've had multiple conversations about this with people, and I'm probably going to regurgitate a lot of stuff. And I think there's some really good topics we can talk about. So let me ask you, Cornell, how have you adjusted with all that? Because you are in California and you are, firsthand dealing with this.
So it is kind of weird because typical government stuff where they say this is the new law. And it's like, okay.
Yep.
What is considered fast food? Because like your guys' place, I don't think would fall under fast food.
No.
But they won't really tell you that this is what a fast food restaurant is, but they will fine you if they decide that you're wrong.
Well, that seems really vague.
Yeah. Okay. So it was like, well, do you have to have a drive-through? Okay. So there's a good chance I could see a lot of drive-through shutting down.
Yeah, no
is it a chain? Is it like, it was a lot of that kind of stuff. So
okay.
There's a lot of things I'm going to say that term used to, because a lot has changed in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I used to get the Crunchwrap Supreme breakfast from Taco Bell, the combo. I would get it probably 2 to 3 days a week. It was eggs, sausage, potato, tortilla, cheese. Then they had these like little donut hole bites, and it was awesome. It was like $6.75. The day after this whole thing went into place, it went up to like $9.15.
Damn.
So the exact same thing the next day went up like almost $3.
Right.
And I was like, okay, so I'm on the road a lot with work, and I don't really necessarily have time to like make food. And the problem is when I do make food and bring it with me, I eat it by like 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
I'm the same way.
if I don't have food, I'll wait until about 11:30, maybe even 12:30 or 1, depending on what how busy the day is and that kind of a thing. But so now I'm literally I kind of know where I'm gonna go, and I only am going places where they have that, like the dollar menu's gone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm going places now where I know where I can get a decent amount of food for under $10. And the only place I've found so far is Wendy's.
Yeah. Wendy's is a good one. With the fast food thing, it's kind of, even though, so like, here's a snapshot into like our business, a little bit about what we do. And it's like, people will, okay. So when that does move up here, cause it will, what we generally follow what California is doing. And so when that does move up here, what I foresee happening is fast food changing. And then what's going to happen with our company is we're probably going to look at our employees and be like, well, we might as well change, because if we don't, we're going to lose them to fast food.
Yeah.
And so you got these companies that are saying, we don't want to move to that. But you got people that are going to quit and go work fast food because they're going to get paid more and probably better benefits. I'm guessing if a national chain has that, hundreds of stores, they're probably going to have a decent amount of benefits. And so all of a sudden, this entry-level job has turned into something people are seeking out. We used to think about back in the day, I don't know about you, but I was like, fast food was like one of my first restaurant or first jobs. It was like, let me get experience. Let me work fast food. It'll be easy. So with that being said, like, I think that it's going to affect multiple things. We've seen it affect grocery stores. But what you're saying, like so what you said is like, normally you go to Taco Bell, you get the $6.75. That's roughly $34 a week. Jumped up to $9.15. That's $46 a week. So the idea of like affording that is no longer. So the Wendy's thing is there. And also
for me, that's breakfast.
Yeah.
So then there was lunch.
Yeah.
So before totally. I was like, all right, $6.75, and then I'd go to, let's say, McDonald's and get like the two big McDoubles and the Diet Coke, and it was $6.50. So I was at $12 for the whole day. Yeah. And then now I can't touch anything for under like $20 a day.
It's $20 to go out pretty much anywhere. And that's kind of how I looked at it. And I've been really focusing on like my work partner, Sean, him and I are doing this thing where we each make 2 meals at the office a week. So we have lunches there. And so that's a cool thing. So it's like, if I'm out and about and he's, it's his turn, I know he's going to make it. I don't have to be there to eat it with him. It's just there. It's in the fridge. I'm being a little more conscious at home about saving leftovers. I'm doing my best with that. I'm eating breakfast before I go. And that is a very difficult thing, because getting kids ready for school, getting them out the door, I've had to start getting up earlier. And so, and these aren't bad things, but what we're seeing is an increase of minimum wage is affecting life in many ways. But needless to say, we're talking about food and the idea of getting quality food, because quality food's already a markup in the idea of a price. And so it's like, well, shit, now instead of paying $18.99 a pound for that ribeye, like I used to, now I'm going to pay $23 a pound. That's just not feasible if you're trying to eat multiple pounds of steak a week, right? So it's like, what do you do?
A week? A day?
I know. So seeing if you got that. Yeah. That's my point, is like the idea of being able to consume the amount of food that we need to consume to recover as weightlifters is going to have to change, and it's going to have to change in the way of thinking. And I was just talking to Damon about this today, where I was like, listen, because he was like, man, I just don't know where to buy steak anymore. I don't know where to buy beef. My body feels good when I eat beef. And I said to him, I was like, listen, think about it as little more of a balance, try to get a little bit more carbs on that plate. Try to get a little bit more fatty things on that plate, maybe a couple more vegetables. But then with the meat, let's think outside of the box. And the main first thing that I would say, and this is what I told him, which was go buy bulk. Because when you buy bulk, when you find wholesale prices, you're going to get a cut on the price. So what would be $18.99 a pound at the grocery store is probably going to be about $15 or even $13 a pound through the wholesaler. Mm-hmm. And you can, it's funny because I don't know, I'm guessing people know this. We all know about the Costco's and the cash and carries and the restaurant depots and all those places. Those are geared for restaurants, and they do have a little bit of a markup. But one thing that people may not know, and I don't know if you know this, but like find a meat packer in your area. Like we have Empire Meats. They do all the cutting and the packing, and they generally do it for the grocery stores and restaurant places. But what they do is they like to sell boxes, like meat boxes.
Okay.
And I could go down to Empire Meats. I could spend $120 and I'm getting 4 different cuts, probably 25 to 30 pounds of meat.
Wow.
And it's like, they may not be the most beautiful cut, but it's a ribeye cut.
Yeah.
They may not be the most beautiful New York strip you've ever seen, but it's still a New York strip. It's being creative like that and buying a freezer and stocking that fucker up, because like that's how we're going to be able to do this.
Yeah. No, I think that's really great. We don't have a meat packing place like that around here that I know of, but we do have the Costco Business Center that you've.
Yes, you do.
Some of the other stuff that I would big time recommend is on Instagram. Follow the Meat Dad. I've learned more from him in the last probably 2 months following him than I've probably known in 24 years.
Wow.
I mean,
okay.
since I've been a grown up and buying my own meat.
Right.
Like, I've learned so much more. And like back when I was 18 and moved out, it was like, okay, well, the chuck steak is cheap. That's what I'm going to buy. And then basically once I got married, I was like, I'm never buying chuck again, because that's in my brain. That was like when I couldn't afford anything, that was my poor meat.
Yeah. Totally.
But watching Meat Dad, and he's like, go buy the chuck roast, get the thickest chuck roast you can find. And then you he'll explain it a lot better, but you basically just rip that roast apart with your hands. Yeah. And anywhere there's a big fatty line, that's basically a different steak. And then, so I was at the store 2 days ago, and a ribeye roast was, like you said, $17 a pound.
Yeah.
The chuck roast was normally $13 a pound, and it was on sale for $7.99 a pound.
That's awesome.
So I got like a 6-pound giant steak that I've been eating for 4 days, and I still have 2 meals left.
That's great. How'd you cook it? Or did you just bring it down?
I've just been doing cast iron stuff.
Nice.
Just because I'm doing enough stuff that I don't want to turn the barbecue on. I don't want to wait for it to heat up. I just want to I throw half a stick of butter in there. I use his Daddy Dust seasoning. It's got charcoal in it and a bunch of other stuff.
Daddy Dust. It's really called. Oh my!
Yeah, it's called Daddy Dust.
That's genius, dude. Daddy Dust.
Like a half a stick of butter, Daddy Dust, salt, some dried rosemary, and just soak it in that butter, and it's delicious. Yeah. So it's done in like 6 minutes, and it's close to 2 inches thick. But a lot of the ones that I'm pulling apart, they're much more like almost like a New York strip, but a little bit thicker, but a little bit narrower. So you can actually the one I had today, I had 4 sides to cook. Like I was
Okay.
able to set it on each side. It was
Yeah.
about 2 inches cubed and then about 8 inches long. That's what she
Well,
said. And,
hey,
but it cooked so fast because I was just able to be like 30 to 60 seconds on one side. Then I flipped it, then I flipped it, then I flipped it, and it was basically done. And
that's
then just
awesome.
took it off, let it sit for a couple minutes, chopped it up, medium rare. So,
And that's a really good tip. And what he's talking about by pulling it apart with his hands, like the way when you're taught how to butcher meat, it should always pull apart at the where the fat is. And you know, a lot of butchers will tell you that you shouldn't have to put a knife to meat when you're butchering it until you get to a bone, until you get to some sort of ligament or something like that, because it should just pull right apart. And you're probably doing that right now, right?
yeah, I mean, I'm not dealing with a half of a cow or something. And I've watched this guy because he was a butcher for like forever.
Yeah.
And then he'll bring in like a 30, 40 pound piece and then he'll rip it as far as he can. Then he'll end up needing to get a knife and just like a little bit of cuts here and there. But he's pulling a lot of meat apart.
Well, and with the roast, there's a lot of good fat marbling through it. And it's versatile. And like you're saying, you know, you could cube it up, you could make stew, you could chop it up and make you know, like Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, like slice it really thin. Like you can do a lot of stuff with that cut of meat. And it's always going to be cheaper.
Yeah, and he's got like a meat grinder where I'm not at the point where I'm going to grind my own meat, but he saves like all the fat, he saves everything. Yeah. And then he'll throw it in for burgers and he like uses every last bit of the meat.
It's the way to do it. You know, I don't know if I've told this story. I probably have told you this story, but I don't know if I've said it on here. But like when my dad was alive, we used to buy, you know, we would go in on a cow, you know, every season, go in on a cow and we would raise it. We would butcher it. We would also name it. I think the last one we did was named Hamburger or Cheeseburger. Anyways, you know, have some fun with it, but, you know, raise it, finish it on, you know, whatever. One year we did hazelnuts, one, you know, we did grass. It was like, it's always a little different, but like, and then butchered it, have them pack it up. And we had a freezer full of meat for, you know, almost 3/4 of the year, you know, and we could tell the butcher what cuts to make or what to do and what not to do. And I would I've done this probably 4 times where I would go to a pig farm and they sell what's called a pig in a box, where they basically slice it down. I know they slice it down long ways and then they cut it into 3 or what's called the primal sections, and they sell you the primal sections. And then I take it home and I put it on the table and I take about 4 hours and I cut out the, you know, all the belly, the roast, the ham, the pork chops, and I break it down into a smaller piece. Now, I will say that after I do that, I don't want to touch or look at pork for probably 2 weeks because you're knee deep. Also, that pork fat is real good, like moisturizer for your hand. I think I've said that before. But these are ways that we can do this. And like, you know, like I'm going to tell Damon, I'm going to be like, hey, dude, you want to go in on some, you know, a half a cow? I know somebody who will sell us a half a cow. And that you just got to get a freezer and we got to, like, you know, throw it in a freezer. And you end up getting stuff for, you know, under $10 a pound, which you're not finding in the grocery mart.
Yeah. No, and so I just bought all this stuff at it's what's it called? It's Bonds down here. Bonds, I think it's same as Safeway.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Yes.
It's a local place around here.
Okay.
Yesterday I went to Costco, just the regular Costco, and they had the chuck roasts. And again, they were under $10 a pound, but I knew how much meat I currently had, and their smallest one was like 7 pounds. I'm like, I can't bring another 7 pounds home right now. I need to finish off what I've got.
Yeah. No, we were at Costco today, and I mean, they're doing some pretty cool things where they're actually slicing it for you and selling it at a little bit of a discount price. I saw, I think ribeye packs. So it was 4 ribeyes for $44, which that's not too bad. Yeah. But like, what else did I get? Oh, I got these pre-made burger patties that were like short rib and ribeye chopped up meat that they
Okay.
formed. It was 6 patties for $12. Like
Okay.
it's like I guess what I'm trying to say is you just got to be creative and you
Mhm.
got to get out there and like think, how can I still get good quality meat and not pay these prices that are about to occur, because it's just going to continue to increase. Like it's not going to go down in price.
Like just in general, our family is going out way less.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially like as a family. And like now that we've had the pizza oven for about a year now. I think I got it for Father's Day, or I might have got it for my birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like our typical, like, what are we gonna make? Like, instead of us being like, let's just go drive through something, it's like, let's run to Trader Joe's, get a dough. You can buy everything you need for 2 pizzas and it's $10. So like, the dough, that's pepperoni, the cheese, and the sauce, and it's like $10.
And it's convenient and it's easy. And you got me over here probably going to tell you to make your own dough, but I understand why you do it. I didn't understand
it's
until
$1.75.
I know.
For 2 pizzas.
Yeah. No, I get it. Trust me. I remember when I first heard, I was like, man, why is he buying dough? But then when I saw it and I actually like worked with it, I was like, this is crazy how good this is. Yeah. So, no, it's finding those little deals. Trader Joe's is such a hidden gem. It's got things that you can feed a full family on for under $10. Mm-hmm. You know, and I really
like all the frozen Asian chicken stuff is pop it in the air fryer, make some rice, throw a little bit of vegetables in there, and like I could put down the whole thing, but not with everything else that I'm going to make with it. So.
Well, and that brings me kind of to the next point of this, which is, this is a hard one to talk about, but like portion control, and are we eating multiple other like smaller but more frequent meals? Do you see a difference in changing in the size of the meal that you're eating, on the frequency?
I'm probably just snacking less, but I've been trying to not snack as much, but I am starting to eat more before I leave for work, so that I'm not as hungry longer. I'm trying to time where, like, if I can have a late breakfast, early lunch at like 11:30, then I'll get like an ice cream sandwich or something right before I get to the gym at 2. I'll be home 5:30, and then I have dinner. So I'm lowering the amount of meals I'm eating, but they're both pretty calorie dense.
Right. And you're pretty deep into training right now. You're 2 weeks out from a competition.
3 weeks from yesterday.
Okay. And so like your meals count right now, like big time.
Yeah. No, it's definitely quality stuff. I've been putting down. That makes it sound like I'm eating a lot. I've been having like 3 to 4 eggs in the morning with a handful of the Costco pre-cooked bacon, the little bacon bits, a bunch of cheese, and then they sell these almond croissants where you can get they're like $1 each, and they're huge. They're probably like $4 at Starbucks.
Nice.
And they're bigger and better than that. You throw that in the air fryer for like a minute and a half or less, and it tastes like it just came out of the oven.
Nice.
So I'm probably realistically having 1,800 calories, 15 to 1,800 for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
That croissant is what really pushes it over. That thing's probably 1,000.
I bought a box of Uncrustables the other day. Mm-hmm. And I think those are just kind of like these hidden gems of calories. Maybe not the best calories, but they're calories. And so I've been eating them as my in between lunch and in between breakfast and lunch, and then in between lunch and training. Yeah. And there's those like my snacks. And they're fantastic. They're 380 calories per sandwich, and they're travel. You can travel. I load up my car with them. It's a thing. And but it's I like what you said about timing. You're timing out your meals, so you're not just every chance you get, you're loading your face. It's very timed and it's very specific.
Yeah, I know that if I get home and if it's like 4, I'm like, if I can hold off like an hour and a half, I won't need to eat again.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Uncrustables, I forgot about those. We always have those in stock in the freezer, and I'll grab 2 or 3 of those a couple days a week just as like filler food.
Nice. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you keep those in the freezer? Like at home? You do?
Yeah.
Because I've been keeping them in the refrigerator. I don't know if it matters or not, or if you should freeze them.
I think it says keep them in the freezer because then it doesn't let. I know that they double peanut butter the outsides before the jelly, but it doesn't let the jelly soak through and break through.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then if you put it in the freezer, if you have seat warmers, you throw it behind your back and you turn the seat warmers on, and they are defrosted in about 15 minutes.
Yep. I learned that trick from you already. And when I bought them at Costco, I was like, they're frozen. I threw like 2 on the seat warmer. I was like, let's go.
Yep.
There it is.
And if you wait like 5 minutes on the seat warmer, they're totally edible. It's just the peanut butter's kind of frozen, but that's also like a good option as a different texture. So
yeah. Frozen peanut butter is interesting.
The grape is the best.
That's what I got.
The strawberry, like you see them at the grocery store sometimes, like, oh, I'm going to get a different flavor. And you get strawberry and you're like, this isn't that good.
It's not the same.
And then the Nutella is just like, what is this? This isn't even, there's not nearly enough Nutella in there.
Yeah. I've never had the Nutella one. I think I have to try that one though. But you're saying
that one only comes in 4 packs.
Oh, okay.
Like if you buy that, it's like, I'm going to eat all these right now.
Okay. So. Well, needless to say, I think the moral of this whole conversation is that, like, start cooking your own food, start getting creative, find the deals within your town. Like, if you can find that meat packer, or if you can get a Costco card, like that should, what is it? It's like $60, $80 a year. I don't know what the price is anymore, but like that shit will pay for itself in a second. Like just go get it and then, buy some bulk there, because it ain't going to get any better. We're moving into summer. And I know from my industry, I know that prices are going to skyrocket July, August. And it always happens that in like November, there's some bird flu or something, like I'm always like, I'm really, really like conspiracy theorist about all this stuff, because I think that they do it on purpose so they can jack up a price. But hey, I've watched too many like Food Inc. documentaries, so that's all that is. But anyways, take the time, get out there, make some food, prep some food for later, and don't let this affect your eating, because that and sleep is like the 2 number 1 things we need as weightlifters.
Yeah. No, I think that it sounds real basic and people know this, but I'm definitely putting it into action. The best way to save money is to not have someone else make your food.
Exactly.
Like you can get so much more food and so much better food if you're doing it yourself. Yeah. I know pizza's one of those things where like the pizza I make is decent, but the pizza at your shop is amazing. And I know that I'm just saying. Yeah, I get it. I'm talking about meat.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Pizza's its own thing. It's like
pizza's its own thing, but you could, dude, I mean, what you have made out of your pizza oven, like, I don't even care. Like, there's something, and I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, and this is something I truly believe. You hear it as a gimmick, but there's something different when when you make something that you like, you really enjoy, like you love, like honestly, like it's, things taste better to me when Alana makes me a dinner, because I knew that she put some effort into it and she's doing it for me. Things taste better to me when I take and make something that means something to me. Dude, I'm telling you, we could make the best pizza in the world at my restaurant, but like that, eating that pizza with you guys down there and like, playing around with like some toppings and having a good time and having good conversation, that shit, you can't find that at a restaurant. Sorry. Like,
I think the hard part for me is I'm not a measurer and I'm not a note taker. I'm a wing it kind of guy. So I'm like, I might make something that's freaking amazing. And I'm like, never again. I can try, but it won't be as good.
How am I going to recreate this? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely know that feeling because I eyeball a lot of stuff, you know. I mean, when I'm doing it for work and it's like, it's food cost type stuff, writing a recipe. Yeah. But like when I'm at home, I'm like bottle of wine. Okay, let's do that's good. You know, like, and that's also what makes it so unique. So keep doing that. Don't change that.
Yeah. Now, one of the other things we've been playing around a little bit with, and it's not for any other reason other than being lazy, is if the kids aren't home, we don't make the 2 pizzas out of the one dough. We'll just make a thicker pizza.
I like that.
And
I like that.
It's like it totally just changes how it tastes because now it's going to be much breadier and like heartier. But then I can also like really stack the toppings on top of it, so it's much more of just like it's almost having like a 3-by hamburger instead of just a regular hamburger. Like it's the same flavor, but there's each bite is so much bigger.
So you just reminded me of something that I've been meaning to talk to you about this because I've been seeing, I forget what page does it on Instagram, but I've been seeing this guy where he'll take and he'll toss out like a 12-inch pie, something you would use in yours, and he'll put butter. I've seen butter. I've seen ice cubes. He'll put that in the oven, and what he does is he folds it in half, puts it in there, lets the outside cook, right? Pulls it out, opens it up, and puts like, a ham sandwich in there, and then cuts it. And then he closes it again. He cuts it, and he has this fat sandwich. The one I just saw him do was a steak sandwich. So he puts it in there. He lets it cook for something, pulls it out, folds it, puts it back, and lets it get nice and crispy on the outside. You take it out, you open it up. He put the steak, like chimichurri, some arugula, and a bunch of I think it was feta cheese or some sort of dry or white cheese on there, folded it back, cut it in half, and you have this like triangle sandwich of just like amazingness. Yeah, you should try that. I've been so meaning to like even send it to you. I'll find it and send it to you tonight. But and then again, there's another creative thing you can do with your oven. I think a pizza oven is it's more convenient than a barbecue.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you cook a lot of things in there too.
Yeah, I mean the oven I've got is the Oni, and it takes about 7 to 10 minutes to heat up. So I'll go turn that on, then I'll start messing with the dough, and it's ready.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like it. Well, let's see. We're about 33 minutes in. I'm going to say the continental stuff that we're going to talk about. Let's save that till next time.
Okay.
Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
And then I got one question to ask you.
Okay.
Because this is something that has come up in all of our worlds a little bit. I brought it up over the weekend. We had some good talk about it on the Polo. Adding cardio into your training. What's your rule of thought on that?
I used to be very against it. Yeah. I used to be younger. I'm finding that the more stuff that I listened to where people were very adamant about certain things, I've generally been older than those people. And I'm like, wait till you're my age. And then these people on some of these podcasts are getting older, and then they're starting to add in all this other stuff. And I'm like, there you go.
There it is.
I used to be totally against it. But also in my brain, cardio was like running, burpees, CrossFit, stuff that just would beat the crap out of me.
Yep.
And it turns out that cardio doesn't have to be that.
No, it does not.
So
yeah,
I've been adding in quite a bit more, probably like 3 to 3. I don't want to say 4 because we did it 4 times once, and that's not a regular thing. Yeah. We shoot for 3 days a week right now, my wife and I, and there's a couple of lakes right by our house that it's like 10-minute drive or something. We'll get out of the car. We'll set a timer for 25 minutes. We'll just start walking. And then when it goes off, we turn around and we come back. and
Nice.
that'll be like, we might, when the buzzer goes off, we might sit down for a minute or whatever, but that's going to be like 45 minutes to an hour of basically moving around. And it's not just like roads we're walking on, they're paths, and it's not, I wouldn't call it hiking, but it's not just flat treadmill stuff. That would be freaking god awful.
Walking to me is probably the best cardio you can do. It's low impact. Aside from maybe swimming, I think swimming's great cardio, but it takes some. Yeah, you could drown. Exactly. So let's just keep with walking as the best cardio you can do, because it's low impact. It gets your heart rate up. It gets your heart rate up for a specific amount of time. And if you're anything like me, you sweat. Like I took a walk this morning. I think I walked a little over a mile. It was blue skies out, a little chillier. And I just remember the feeling I got when I got back from that walk was pretty amazing, of just like, I'm going to enjoy my coffee. I'm not going to drink it to wake up. I'm going to, I was happy. I was like, go do let's go do things today. And, let's get out of the house. It increased my mood. It increased my motivation. It made me feel better. It was great. And I used to do a ton of CrossFit. I've done the Spartan races. I used to be a runner. I don't do that anymore. My knees can't really handle that. But there's something very, very great, I think. And I also think, and I don't have the exact science, but I do believe that cardio will help your training on the platform. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. This whole time I've been weightlifting, it's pretty much been, I had the wrong mindset of what cardio was.
Right.
So I always said that, like, in my brain, I thought if I'm doing cardio, it's going to affect what I can do on the platform, and it's going to affect my training stuff. By doing these walks, I'm fine. Like, it's not affecting me at all.
Yeah.
And if anything, it's probably making more lactic acid flow through my legs, at least. Yeah. And I'm not as sore. But I'm not doing anything that's stressing my body at all.
Well, I like what you said, that like you do it 3 days a week. You're not like out there like getting cardio every day. You're being specific about it. You guys have a certain amount of time limit that you put it to it. Like, and that's the thing about the like, really, I think anybody who's listening to this, like, don't just go in diving into a 3-foot pool head first, right? You got to like feel it out. You don't go hike the closest, mountain to you. Go take a walk around the block and then see how that feels. Right. Yeah. And then be like, okay, let's go 3 blocks next time. Let's go 5 blocks next time. Like, and that's how people get hurt, is they like, maybe, okay, listen, that's how old people get hurt. maybe not the younger people. They can probably jump into that. But me, I had to start slow. I don't know. I'm going to just throw it out there. I think people should try it. I think it'll be just good for everything in your life. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the way I started it is I set a timer for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can do anything for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I just come back.
Nice. I like that.
And then that's 20 minutes. So that's,
it's like, I'm sorry. I was just having a conversation on Tuesday when I lifted with Donald and Damon, and I said out loud, I was like, I'm not going to do cardio. And then I started thinking about that comment, and I'm like, I sounded like a jackass saying that. Because cardio is really, it's heart healthy stuff. And as we're getting older, we need to be able to take care of our heart. We need to take care of our organs, make sure our blood pressure is good. All that stuff starts to come into play. And like, if we're not going to take the time to do that, we're probably going to take years off of our life in a fashion. But, and I don't know about you, Cornell, but I want to live for a long time, and I want to be able to do this for a long time. I want to be healthy. And I think I'm hitting an interesting turning point in training.
Yeah. I was just talking to one of our old teammates, who I don't know if he's on the team or not anymore, but
Yeah.
He just made some comments about like, oh, you think you're beat up? Wait till you're my age. And he's 10 years older than me. And I was like, oh, I've felt the change in the last like 4 years.
Yeah.
Like 5 or 6 years ago, I was able to lift easily 5 days a week. Sometimes we'd throw in an extra max out session because we weren't really maxing out ever back then. But I know that the weights were much different then than they are now.
Right.
But now I'm done. I'm down to 3 days a week. That's all my body can handle.
Nice.
And then I got 2 to 3 days of bodybuilding in there on top
That's
of
great.
it.
That's fantastic.
So I'm really getting, if you think about it though, I'm really getting in like 9 workouts if you count the walks a week, which is much more than I was doing when I was going hardcore 5-6 days a week before.
Yeah.
But just the way that my body is recovering from stuff is I can't go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Like I went into the gym the past 2 Saturdays and I didn't do anything. I'm like, if I want to be able to lift again Monday, I can't do anything today.
Yeah. 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 That's an interesting thing to talk about. And I think there's a lot to be said about what you're talking about, which is being specific about the things that you are doing in order to, be better in life. Let's just say that, I guess, better on the platform, better healthy, better moods, all that stuff. And, all you young bucks out there, like there's going to come a point where you're going to be talking about the same thing. So just remember that. And I don't know if this is a true statement, but I would say the earlier you can start it, the better. Be specific about everything you're doing out here, because it's just going to increase your longevity, right? I mean, longevity is what it's all about. And now if you're out there, wanting to do weightlifting for a couple seasons or whatever a season is, but for a couple years, cool. Don't listen to us, but, I just want to be active and I want to keep weightlifting going in my life, and I want to be healthy and I don't want to have a heart attack. So there's my reasoning. I don't know.
I like all of those reasons.
Yeah.
For you and me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right. And so, I think this has been a good podcast. We've talked about how to eat right. We've talked about, different concepts of training. Man, it feels good to be able to talk about this stuff and then go implement it. And I think, with you, it's like we talk every day on the Polo, right? And so a lot of this stuff we've probably already chatted about in some form or fashion, but to be able to put it out there, I think is really important. So if you guys out there listening to this, you have questions, hit us up. You know where Cornell's at. You know where I'm at. We're all on Instagram. Shoot us a message. We got all kinds of techniques. So I think that's a good place to wrap it up. 43 minutes. Also, hey, you know what else is cool to do on your walk? Listen to this podcast. So everybody have a great night. Cornell, thank you for everything. And have a good night, buddy.
Alrighty. Bye.
Adios.